also the creator of The Intentional Mom and the money coach in Thriving on a Dime, which is my money saving community. So I have received numerous emails from people who know that I manage money well, who may be aware that my husband and I have a family of 11 of us, right? We have 9 kids, and we've also become debt-free on 2 separate occasions, right? So I've gotten a lot of emails during these uncertain times asking me, how do I manage money well? I'm not sure if my job is secure, or I'm not able to go into work right now, so I'm not earning a paycheck. I don't know how to manage my money. I've never really had to worry about these things before. What are your best tips for how to deal with money and manage money maybe a little bit more wisely, just on a general whole, but also during these uncertain times? So I wanted to share with you a few different things that are important during this time when it comes to managing your money well. I wanted to give you 4 things that you should be doing right now to help make sure that you're managing your money as best you can. I will also post a link to my money coaching program. It's not something that's open all the time. Usually open enrollment is only once a year because it is a very hands-on environment for me. And so I can only take on new clients every once in a while, but during this time, the need is high. So I'm going to post a link to where you can actually join Thriving on a Dime. The first month, I actually give you guys a trial month that you can try it. I will post it here, but I will close the doors when there are too many people. I can only limit the number of people that come in there at one time. So I will post that here with this video as well in case you want to come there. But I want to share with you guys 4 important tips for right now for how to manage your money during uncertain times, or anytime you kind of feel like I need to scale things back. So whatever the reason might be for your uncertainty or feeling like I need to keep better track of my finances, these 4 tips are going to apply, okay? So number 1 is that you need to scale. I mean, if your income has changed or your income coming into your home is uncertain, you need to scale back your spending. And you can do this in a variety of ways, but I would suggest that you scale your spending back. Most of us, when life is normal, we don't really have to think about all of the places that our money might be going. And certainly we don't need to think about it nearly as much as we might need to think about it now. So for right now, you might be working, but are you going to keep working tomorrow? What's your job going to look like tomorrow? Or what's your paycheck going to look like tomorrow? For most of us, it's just kind of an uncertain time. So I want you to really think about, what can I scale back on? And chances are when you sit down and you think about it, you're going to find some things that you can scale back on. And honestly, you know, the restaurants are closed down. Some of them are takeout and that kind of thing. Stores are closed, malls are closed, all of that stuff. So to some extent, our spending is kind of going to be limited because we can't go about our daily lives like we're used to. But it's also a really good opportunity right now to think about, where can I scale money back? If I need to save money, or if I need to spend less money, what are some things that I can do right now so that I'm spending less? So spend some time thinking about those things. That's step number 1, is where can I scale back my spending? Okay. Step number 2 is to take a look through take a look through your bank statements, your credit card statements, and you want to look at, do I really need everything that I'm paying for, right? You might have some expenses that you kind of have forgotten are even coming out of your checking account, or some expenses that are being charged to your credit card. You might have forgotten about some of these things. And now, because we're in kind of uncertain times, you might be able to say to yourself, do I need both Hulu and Netflix? Or do I need both Netflix and Amazon Prime? Or do I really need HelloFresh? Or I'm just pulling some things out. There's nothing wrong with any of these things. But I want you to take a look at where your money has been going and make sure that you are utilizing the things that you're actually paying for. I think these are things that a lot of times we just kind of fall numb to. Sometimes we can look at our credit card statements or our checking account statements and say, I totally forgot that I was paying for that, right? So I want you just to look at your spending for the past month or two and ask yourself, do I really need everything I'm paying for? Sometimes there can be some surprises in there, and never before has it been more important to figure out what those surprises might be. So when it comes to managing your money well, or saying, you know what, I want to be a little bit wiser or a little bit smarter with my money, now is the perfect time to look and make sure that the things you're paying for are things that you actually want to continue paying for and things that you have a reason to pay for, okay? So that's step number 2. Step number 3 kind of takes step number 2 a little bit further, and that is to create what I call a spending log. If you are someone who is in Thriving on a Dime, who has been working with me in my money management program, Thriving on a Dime, you have already heard this. A spending log. I suggest, and what a spending log is to me, is that you're going to actually track all of your spending for 3 months. Look at all of your account statements, credit cards, checking accounts, whatever else you might have, and look, where has every dollar gone? It's important. And I'm just going to warn you, you're probably going to find some surprises, right? You're not going to realize how much you spent on groceries. You're not going to realize how often you went out for coffee. You're not going to realize how often you actually went out to dinner. These are just among the normal things that most people are kind of shocked once they sit down and they actually track it. And I would suggest you categorize your spending, right? So if you're looking back for the last 3 months of spending, you're going to have gone to the grocery store several times. But I want you to track your spending, not only to see I spent this much, I spent this much, I spent this much, but I also want you to tally those totals so that you know, how much did I spend on groceries? How much did I spend on gas? How much did I spend on eating out? How much did I spend on coffee? How much did I spend on my streaming services? How much did I spend on those regular bills like utilities and insurance and maybe car repairs or maybe pet care or some of those things, household repairs, some of those things that we tend to just kind of absorb into our spending at other times. Right now, when times are a little bit uncertain, it's important to know how much you're spending on these things. So step 3 is to actually create what I call a spending log and look back over every place where your money has gone for the past 3 months. And again, just ask yourself, number 1, did I realize I was spending as much money on these things? And number 2, do I need to spend as much money on these things? Or number 3, if I'm feeling a little bit nervous, or I know my job has been cut, or my hours have been cut, or I'm not bringing in the same paycheck, where can I make cuts? And that starts by knowing where your spending is happening first. And that's why step 3, as I'm laying out here, is to create a spending log so that you can create and track your spending. So you can look at it and just say, is this really where I want my money to go? Because as a money coach, I have long said, and I always say to anybody I ever work with on money, spending money isn't bad. But I just want everybody to know where they are spending their money. And so oftentimes we're kind of immune and unaware of the different places that our money goes or how much money goes to certain areas. And so that is what the spending log is going to help you do. You want to be aware so that then you can choose, do I want my money to go there or don't I? And if you are someone who is feeling the stress and the strain right now because your hours have been cut, or maybe your job is kind of, you're just kind of temporarily, who knows when it's ever going to come to an end, but maybe you're laid off right now. Now is the time where you need to kind of reel it in and you need to create a spending log in order to do that. So that's step number 3. And then step number 4 is to create a budget, okay? A budget is so important. it's pretty much impossible, I will say, to create an effective budget if you don't first know where your spending is going. And that's why step 3 was to track your spending, because you have to track it. Think about a budget as a forward projection. A budget is basically saying, where is my money going to be going and how much money is going to be going to these places? But in order for you to be able to do that accurately, you don't want to just say, I would guess I'm spending this much on groceries. I would guess I'm spending this much on these convenience items. I would guess I'm spending this much on clothing. Guessing is not good. When you want an accurate budget, and especially in times such as these, you need an accurate budget. And that's why step number 3 is to look back the last 3 months and see, where is my money going? And then with step number 4, you're projecting ahead of time. Where is my money going? And of course, we all have those responsibilities, right? Things that we can't do away with, like your rent or your mortgage or your car payment or your, insurance, all of that stuff. We all have those staples that we have to pay for. We have to pay for some food, right? But do you need as much as you have been spending on groceries going forward? If you want to spend a little bit less money, or if you want to reel it in, or if you're feeling a little bit nervous because times are tight, maybe you can look at some of those things and say, going forward, this is how much money I'm going to project. And this is how much money I have to spend on groceries, right? If your jobs have been cut or your hours have been cut, you might not have had to have worried about how much you spent on groceries before. But now in creating your budget, you figure out, what? I can only spend $500 a month on groceries. Well, then you're going to need to know that, right? You're going to need to start tracking every time you go to the grocery store. How much am I spending on groceries? All of that sort of thing. So step 4 is to actually create a budget. And with this video, I'll include, as soon as I'm done here doing this video, I will give you a link to where you can get my 5-page budget template download, and it will help you. I try to cover as much as I can think of in that budget template. Everything from pet care to car stuff to household management stuff, all of the stuff. It's 5 pages, but it's 5 pages because I want to try to help you think of everything that your money might be going towards. So I will link that here with this video so that you can download that and actually work with that.